Mercedes-Benz first showed us their X-Class concept in Sweden. They took us for a drive in one in South Africa, then they let us drive them in South America. They finally launched it in Australia last month in Tasmania, but the one place we wanted to drive it was the Outback. So we've sampled the X-Class all over the world, but there's one place you've really got to drive a four-wheel drive ute, and that's the Australian bush. People out here live on these sort of vehicles. Farmers use them, tradies use them, but they're more commonly being used as recreational vehicles now for families. Mercedes is keen to get into that market. We're out here in the Outback to test some of the best road conditions Australia has to offer. 5,000 kilometres through Western New South Wales, South Australia, into Queensland and down the Darling River. Tough, dusty tracks that'll put the Mercedes-Benz to its test. But now they're becoming more common as recreational vehicles, and people like Mercedes are getting into the market. The two cars we've got with us out here are a top-of-the-line X-Class 250d Power and the mid-spec 250d Progressive. Below that there is a base spec, almost like you'd call a tradie spec, with steel wheels and unpainted bumpers. They call that the Pure. For the 250d, that's the 2.3 litre bi-turbo engine, makes 140 kilowatts of power, 450 newton metres of torque. It's pretty much the same engine you'll find in a Navara. Backed here by a 7-speed transmission, part-time four-wheel drive with a rear diff lock. The components inside the X-Class are taken from Mercedes-Benz's C-Class sedan and V-Class vans. It's got leather-lined dashboard, the seats are heated and electric. Big clear screen up on the dashboard has a touchpad down on the console where it's easy within hand's reach. It's a real Mercedes-Benz cabin. It's been fully engineered from the ground up. It's a wider vehicle, it's got a wider wheel track front and rear, makes it more stable on road, better turning, better stability all the time, better handling. It's got a wider cabin. The windscreens and the glass area is wider. It's a whole new cabin. It's not just a rebadged Navara. Do I have to say that more than once? I don't know, maybe I do. People don't seem to understand that. The Renault-sourced 2.3 litre bi-turbo diesel engine with its 140 kilowatts of power, 450 newton metres of torque, is a real goer. Backed by the 7-speed auto, it gets this little X-Class along quite nicely. The four-wheel drive system is a part-time setup, standard stuff for this sort of vehicle. What is different for a 1-tonne ute? It's got coil springs at the back. That's something that it inherits from the Nissan Navara it's based on. It's got autonomous emergency braking. Again, the first vehicle in this class with that. Mercedes-Benz claims the X-Class ute is the only ute that will pass the latest ANCAP 5-star safety standard. So that's saying something for this class of vehicle. We'll see other vehicles with that sort of tech later in the year, but not yet. So far, this is the only one. And that autonomous emergency braking gave us a funny thing earlier on in the trek. We were on an outback road, coming up to a cattle grid. As we reached the grid, which was a bit of a hump, it braked the car quite harshly as we went over. Nothing in front of us, you'd never back off there, but it got a false reading from the change in the road surface. Another thing that's not quite right in the bush roads is the calibration of the ABS brakes on the corrugated rough roads. We did a harsh stop dodging some kangaroos. Braking distance was quite solid. It didn't let the wheel brake up as you want to on a gravel road. So that's something they've got to work on a little bit too. Do we get that? Yeah. We're nearing the end of our Outback adventure, and I've got to say these Mercedes-Benz X-Class 250Ds have held themselves pretty well. We've hit 4 states, covered more than 5,000 kilometres of outback roads, and some of those roads have been pretty damn harsh. They're rocky, rutted tracks that tear the hell out of your tyres, beat the crap out of the suspension, really give the cars a good workout, and we haven't had a single issue with them. Sure, we fitted all-terrain tyres to these cars because coming out here on highway tyres just doesn't cut it, you'll end up with flats. But other than that tyre issue we had early on, not a problem with the cars. Engine and transmission, both perfect, not an issue there, plenty of power, transmission shift nicely, four-wheel drive system works well. Not that we do much low range off-roading out here, it's more outback touring, what most people get out there and do with this sort of car. The cars have been mildly loaded and they ride quite nicely out here. It'll be real interesting to see how they go with a heavy load in them. The coil spring rear suspension is comfortable on the ruts and the bumps, rides real nice, as you'd expect of a Mercedes-Benz car, but these are after all 1-tonne utes, so we look forward to testing them out with a load on. We're also looking forward to the V6 version coming out later this year. That's the one we reckon is going to be a real winner. The question remains, is the Mercedes-Benz X-Class worth its extra price? We say yes it is. Sure, it may not be a game changer, it's not going to revolutionise the market, but this car is a step above most of its rivals. We haven't compared it against all the other utes yet, but the interior, you can tell straight away, this is a Mercedes-Benz vehicle. The ride quality is spot on. These tracks are rough and tumble. The car rides beautifully all the time. So yeah, we reckon that extra money is money well spent.
Out of the darkness and into the fire.